Oink pug. 20 seconds a slide. Go. So I'm talking about Google Maps API and specifically about scrumalliance.com and our course selection page. And this is going to be in JavaScript, and I'm glad that our buddy is gone. His name is Dave, is that right? Because my slides could very well be kind of ugly. This is where we are now. We have, and this is very similar, a lot of us have the same type of just list, and I didn't even screen capture the whole thing. What we have is 360 some odd courses broken up across 13 pages of 20 courses. We can filter a little bit here, but not very well. This whole thing is out of my comfort zone, mainly because I haven't figured out how to use unit testing in JavaScript, and I'm not really that good at JavaScript, and I'm not really good at using Firebug, and so I'm using a lot of alerts to figure out when things are broken, and it doesn't really work that well. So here we are. Where are the courses? The main thing is you have to geolocate the courses. We decided to put these things on a map, which is kind of what we're doing here, and we've had a couple things. One is we have this geolocate, which forms a nice little query, sends it off using CSV, and captures the latitude and longitude. Wow, this is going really fast. So this is kind of the hello world, that you get an API key from Google, and you create a new Gmap, and you set it center, and it displays it. You put it in onload, and you have to do an unload because they acknowledge they have memory leaks. And so now what I'm doing is, this is our HTML, and I'm loading courses from our controller, and I'm iterating across them, and I'm adding them into the course using this called a create marker, which you create a new Gmarker, and you can build up some HTML and add an event listener onto it for the click event with passing in a closure. And this is kind of what you get. It's a simple map with little markers on it based on the courses, and if you click on these things, you get a nice little tooltip that tells you about the course. And we said, wow, what kind of courses are those? We don't really know whether they're Scrum Master courses or Product Owner courses. We like to be able to differentiate them a little bit. So now we're using some custom icons, and this is just a block of code that Google gives you about how to create a custom icon. And I call this create icon with passing in a course type ID. So I just create a bunch of icons, put it into these little anonymous object hashes there, and then when I'm doing the create marker, I delete a bunch of stuff out. You just pass in the icon type to the new Gmarker, and it's all good. Wow, this is really hard to see because there's not a lot of contrast going on here.
How's the camera picking it up?
It's going too fast to understand it.
Yeah. Oh, where am I? So we're also doing, I just lost the page there.
Courses Monday.
So we're trying to put courses, we're also doing different colors for the course type and different colors for the course date. So you see a dark green and a light green implies date, and the color implies a different type of course. So you're trying to use the old Tufte approach here of putting information in subtle ways. And there's a legend that kind of explains this as well. But so now we want to be able to click on a button and only show a certain type of course. So what I'm doing here is I've got these a hash of course types, and as I'm creating the course markers, I'm looking at the type that it is and pushing it onto that hash, so each hash number is an array. And then when I'm toggling, you toggle one, it goes through, and it just iterates it. It uses this marker show or marker hide. We're also doing it on dates. So we actually have a little matrix. You click this thing, it toggles one and toggles the other. And that actually was a little bit harder because now you've got multiple things that you're doing. So you can see over here, this is the type of filtering that we're doing. You can say, show me only the courses that are in the next 14 days, that are the CSM courses, and you get a map that looks kind of like this. And as you click on the little buttons, the map updates in real time. So how many markers are there? So when you move the map around, you want to be able to see what happens. So Google gives you a move end event. that will pass back, and you can turn around and call get bounds on the map that will give you a boundary object, and then you can ask the markers if they're in that boundary. And then we turn around and do an AJAX call back to our controller that says, here are all the markers that are in our map. Give me my list of courses. And it updates a div on the fly that says, here's the courses that are being displayed on the map. So the main thing is, I mean, there's a lot of code that we didn't able to go over, and this is moving really fast. JavaScript really isn't that hard, and I wish I understood how to test it better. And in the end, I'll turn on and demo this before we walk away. It's a great enhancement to the usability of this whole page. And also, it gets complicated pretty fast as you start trying to do complex things in a language that you don't understand very well without a testing framework. And so, there you go. That's my... Actually, if you're counting, I cheated. That's actually only 17 slides.